My father slept with my wife and got her pregnant?
That's my wife!
I had a crap show birthday with a few close friends at my own house. At the end of the party, after everyone left, my dad told me that he needed to confess something that was unaliving him inside. I said, sure. By the way, this comes from user throwaway dad is a POS. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, he first started off saying that he did a lot of wrong to me and my wife. He hoped that I could forgive him. I was confused to what he was talking about. I asked what he did that he needed my forgiveness. He said to me that when I was on a business trip, he invited my wife. My wife and dad got together one day and they ended up doing the thing that led to my wife carrying his baby.
This is gonna be really confusing.
I just responded, WTF, is this a joke? He told me that he was being serious and not lying to me. I still couldn't believe what I was hearing. He kept going on and on saying that the baby didn't survive and I couldn't bear to hear it. So I just said, stop the BS, and told him to leave my house. I physically pushed him out of my house and I went directly to my bedroom. My wife wasn't at my birthday party at all, as she was hanging out with her girls. We were planning to go out for a date night later, but it's not going to happen. My wife doesn't know that my dad confessed to me about their affair. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to look at my wife and ask if this was true or not. After some time, I went downstairs again to check the front door, and my dad was still waiting in his car. He was just staring at the steering wheel, crying. I really wanted him to go away, wanted to say something, but couldn't, because I didn't trust myself to not do something cruel. My wife still hasn't come home yet. Thanks, POS Dad, for giving me the best birthday gift ever.
Oh, yeah.
And we have an update, but Angie,
Yikes, man.
yikes on a bike.
Yikes on bikes. For real. I just peed in my pants. I just peed right in my pants. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm speechless. I'm left speechless because wow. So is this child born yet? Is that
No,
what happens?
supposedly again the child didn't make it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
I don't know if the child was most likely the child was terminated. Maybe we'll get more information, but it
Yeah.
seems like he didn't even know that she was pregnant.
Okay, so she just did it.
We have an update. I went to my female neighbor's house. An hour later or so, my wife kept calling me. She called me 3 times, but I ignored her. On her 4th call, my neighbor told me to pick the phone up. So, I did. She stopped crying, but she was still so distressed from her voice. She asked how I was doing and really wanted me to come back, but I said I can't. So, she asked if she'd talk over the phone. I said yes. Then she said that she indeed was together with my dad when I was on the business trip. She said that one day he invited her over, so she went to his place. Don't give him details. At the time, my wife was unemployed and looking for jobs. She was already stressed from not having any income and was lonely because of me being away from home frequently for long periods, because you were making money for both of you. My dad had lost his wife at the time, which made him lonely too. My grandfather had his own business and gave it to my dad in his last years. He passed away too. During that time, my dad was running the business. He thought he'd make a deal with my wife. The deal was that my dad would give my wife a position at his business in exchange for spicy sleep to fulfill his widow's fire.
Because someone's got to put the wood in.
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, so this
I come from
Welcome
a salt
back.
mill.
Welcome back.
He said
Sick.
fire.
Riley is still sick, as you can see.
so many issues, so many layers to this story. My goodness. My goodness.
That's how everything happened. I really was speechless when she told me these things. I didn't know how to react. I would hope so. But I thanked her for telling her side of the story and said that I'll get back to her later. I hung up. We recorded the whole telephone call. My neighbor said that I should send a message to my dad confirming my wife's side of the story. That's what I did, and I asked my dad if the things that my wife said were true. He said, yes. I took a screenshot of our text exchange. Now that the truth has come out, I feel better, but it has raised more questions. Like, Why sleep with my dad just to get a job? Why sleep with my wife instead of an escort to get rid of your loneliness? None of their reasons excuse their evil act of betrayal and infidelity towards me. Once my dad confirmed everything, my neighbor and I went to my house and told my dad to come over. We had the talk finally. They said that this happened on a weekend, and they spent the whole weekend together constantly having spicy sleep without any protection.
No.
Oh gosh.
You're just putting salt in the wound.
I just need to know, like, if she felt pressured to do any of this stuff. You know, it's very
Or, like,
possible that she didn't, and that
If she
just,
liked it,
well,
or if it was better,
Yeah,
Sure.
you know, like, you're like, oh, you
what
could.
positions they had,
we
all
don't
this
need to know
information.
all those details.
She's like, wow, you do look like OP, but like hotter.
hotter.
You have a silver fox thing going on. Yeah.
It's like, well, good to know that my husband will look like that in about 20 years.
Yeah. And it was just on that weekend. That makes it so much better.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they never had an intimate connection.
Cool.
Oh, cool. Clean slate. Great.
For sure. For sure.
I asked my wife if she slept with anyone else, and she said no. Regarding our kids, I requested my dad to order 3 DNA tests for each of us to confirm any suspected paternity. My kids don't have to take a DNA test because they already did the ancestry test to learn more about our genealogy a few years ago. We didn't, but now that we are in this situation, we're going to do it too. However, my wife was annoyed that I was requesting a DNA test. She got so disappointed and told me that I don't trust her and that I insinuated that those children aren't mine.
Well,
I wonder
yes.
why.
I'm so
exactly
disappointed
correct.
in you for doing that. You know?
How dare you think that just because I slept with your dad on this weekend that you know about, how dare you think that I did it again another time?
Yeah.
How dare.
When my wife told me not to request a DNA test, my neighbor said, "You have to do the DNA test. And of course he doesn't trust you anymore. And if you have nothing to hide, why are you so against the DNA test?"
Question.
Exactly.
Why is this neighbor so involved?
It's probably like
that's
it's already, yeah,
I
they're
was
cool.
wondering that too. They're probably just friends with their neighbor.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, they're
okay.
probably friends with a neighbor.
I was
Yeah.
like, dude, he's in the tea here, man.
Yeah, he's just getting
Yeah, he
all
got the
dirt.
entire thing like, "Hey, happy birthday. What'd you get today?"
It's a
Uh.
devastating news.
Yeah, breaking news.
Dang, dude.
My wife responded, "Don't poke your nose into this. This is between me and my husband." My neighbor then said to my wife, "Unlike you, I don't poke my nose into other men's wieners, let alone my father-in-law's wiener."
That's a hilarious image. I'm just gonna say that someone hooking up is one thing. Poking your nose in a wiener. That's hilarious.
My wife couldn't say anything to that. She reluctantly agreed to take the DNA test. My dad ordered the test in front of all of us. My dad once again told me how remorseful he was. He kept apologizing over and over again. My wife was the same. They started crying again, and I got pissed again. I told them that you guys are all pieces of crap, and that I never expected this from the both of you. I told my dad that he could have just slept with any other woman out there, but selfishly decided to sleep with my wife.
Mhm.
I also told my wife that she's so cheap that she literally sold her body for spicy sleep just to get a job in my dad's business at the expense of destroying our family.
Oh, dude, I forgot about the job thing.
I have not.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yikes. Yeah, it's definitely. I still need to know because it's very common for this to happen and for women to just obviously feel like pressured for this.
With their father-in-laws?
Whoever. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
With
okay.
who-
Like
with
a power struggle.
Exactly.
Got it.
Like to get a job. That's a very common thing. Absolutely crappy behavior. Not to just do that with OP's wife, but to do that to anyone at all.
Yeah, scratching my head. She could have just asked him for the job. Like, hey,
Yeah.
could I get a job?
We're related now. Yeah.
I asked her if my dad, the job, and our family were worth it. She couldn't give an answer. She was guilty, and she told me that she should have been more patient in getting a job she liked. But she then confessed to me that she voluntarily left his business because of the guilt of what she did in order to get that job. I asked my dad why he confessed now, and asked my wife why she kept this a secret. My dad told me that he just wanted to clear his conscience and this heavy guilt, and that he was having a hard time living his life with this big, of a vile secret. My wife told me that she didn't want to ruin our relationship and that she feared that she'd lose me. I said to my wife that had she had told me immediately at the time, then our relationship could have been saved. I don't know. But after a lifetime of our entire marriage built on lies, she brought this upon herself, and that her fear is now coming true. As for my dad, I told him that he is such a piece of crap and that he will always carry this guilt because now he's going to live with the guilt of breaking our family for the rest of his life. I told both of them that in the end, they are losers and they will never get our family back. I told them that it was so clear how they were passing away to be in each other's pants, and finally, they can have each other.
Mm.
My neighbor said to them, again, the neighbor.
The nosy neighbor.
Nosy neighbor.
I love it.
The neighbor says, "You guys deserve each other and F yourselves to rot in hell. You guys are the worst monsters that I've ever seen."
I love this character. This is so funny.
Honestly, the neighbor tells it how he sees it.
He has absolutely no business to say any of that, but I'm so glad he did.
Yeah.
Because that's hilarious.
If you have read my comment, you'd know how my wife sent my dad an email saying, "It's all over." I told them both loudly and clearly that it wasn't over at the time. It's all over now. At this point, my dad couldn't bear to look at me anymore. So he just left our house, and my wife had a full-blown breakdown. She was hitting herself, curling on the floor,
Ooh.
screaming, while I just looked at her with contempt and
Oh
disdain.
my gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Whoa, this is a bigger issue than we got to figure out here.
I mean, she got caught. I quietly said to myself that she deserved all of this. And this is only the beginning of her pain and the destruction she caused. I just looked at her. Once her breakdown was over, I just asked her to leave, but she begged to stay, which I said that she can't stay anymore and that she has to leave for a few days. After an hour of begging, she just said, "F it," and left.
Mm.
I don't know where she went, but I am happy and feel relieved, probably to your dad. I don't care to know where she is. I don't want to think about her nor my dad anymore.
Dude, Christmases, Thanksgivings from now on. Eventually.
Crazy.
I don't know. I feel bad for the kids.
Step
that's
grandpa, dad. I'm stuck.
It's your grandpa-in-law not
Ugh.
being Riley.
Riley's
needs
back.
to be-
Riley's back, ladies and
Dude,
gentlemen.
I was locked in my room for a day. Let me have this.
No.
I'm an innocent bystander. In the midst of this ugly confrontation, my neighbor
I love this neighbor. Keep
my
it-
neighbor
keep it up.
recorded everything.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
After my wife left, my neighbor sent me the recording and said how proud she was of me. Oh, it's a she. And said how proud she was of me for standing up for myself and keeping my coolness, and that I deserve every happiness in the world, and that I am now free to get the life I always deserved away from these pieces of crap. We hugged, and I cried again. But you can never cry with us, unless if you want to.
Don't do it.
When listening to full episodes with stories just like this one, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio and search what, Angie?
Okay, story time. Because you're going to find full episodes with more stories. Just like this one. Just like this one. And then we can all touch grass together because, oh my God.
Yeah, we
they're
need to clean. We need to
But
Today's
at
stories
what
have been a
cost?
little wild.
They've been crazy.
They've been a little off the
today.
grid.
They've been crazy.
Great content, but boy, oh boy, they're like, whoa.
Boy, oh boy, do I
Um,
need to roll around in the mud.
Let's just get into it. I mean,
Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy that I have the best neighbor in the world, and I wish that my wife was like her instead of being a monster. So the confrontation happened, and we are now waiting for our DNA test kits. We will do the test and send it off. We'll wait a couple weeks for the results to come, and let's see what we're gonna come across. I hope a bag of a whole other lies isn't opened, but you never know. Gotta be prepared for the worst. Now, the question is, are those kids mine, my father's, or someone else's? And that's the end of that story.
Dang it. His account is suspended. I can't check to see if it's his kids or not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Good
Dang.
golly, Miss Molly.
Wow.
Wow, that is
That is
a lot.
wild.
That is a lot.
Wild, man. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
The kid growing up and figuring all that out is a whole nother Reddit story in itself.
It's a villain arc.
Yeah. I refused my stepmother's baby name request, but she won't stop.
No names here.
I'm currently 29 weeks pregnant with the girl. My husband and I have already chosen her name, as well as 2 backups in case it doesn't suit her. By the way, this comes from Remarkable Roll 7685, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime at subreddit. So, my dad's wife lost her mother a little under a year ago. They were extremely close, and her passing was unexpected, so she's not coping well. My husband and I are trying to be as helpful and accommodating as possible, but we don't live in the same country as them anymore, so there isn't much we can do. Back in February, my dad and his wife came to visit us for 10 days to celebrate our son's birthday. This was our first time seeing them after her mother's passing, and their first time seeing me pregnant. Earlier during the trip, we had dinner together. We all started talking about my pregnancy and the baby, and when my dad asked if we had any names in mind, his wife stopped us. She asked us if we could consider naming our daughter after her mother. She said that she had been waiting to ask us this since she learned that we were having a girl, and it would mean a lot to her if we could honor her mother like that. I don't think I have to justify why I wouldn't do that, but in case I do, I never liked her mother or thought of either of them as family. Even if I did, my husband doesn't like the idea of using our children's names as tributes, so we wouldn't name them after any of our deceased loved ones. My husband and I were taken aback. My dad looked a little awkward, so I think he was already expecting her to bring that up. I said I was sorry, but we had already chosen the name and weren't interested in changing it. And the mood passed away a bit, but we did manage to change the subject and enjoy the rest of the evening. My dad's wife was quieter than usual for the next few days, but she didn't bring that up again until the final night of their trip. Everyone was at our place. She pulled me aside and once again expressed how perfect it would be for us to keep her mother's memory alive by naming a child after her. She started talking about how much she would have loved it and how a beautiful name such as hers shouldn't go to waste. I interrupted her and said there is 0 chance we would ever consider naming our child after her mother. I told her it would never be up for discussion, and for her own sake, she needs to accept that and stop bringing it up. I was admittedly harsher than I intended, but I am not sure she would have gotten the message otherwise. She barely spoke to me and my husband until she and my dad flew home the next day. My dad and I have been talking about this. He agrees with our refusal. He didn't really like his mother-in-law either, though he never admitted it, but thinks that I shouldn't have turned his wife down like that. He told me that she's still dealing with her mother's passing and I should have been more sympathetic. He's insistent that she wouldn't mind our daughter's name if we at least told her we'd consider honoring her mother. I don't think humoring her would have been the best call, but I am worried I was too harsh. Am I the a-hole? We do have some comments, but Riley, what was your comment?
So this is her way of grieving?
I think so.
It's her way of grieving and
Coping.
coping and trying to honor her mother, but that's not fair.
Yeah, it's usually not their choice.
Yeah.
Great thing to do, but again, it's like it's hard to ask someone else to name their child that, and especially as their first name. So
Yeah.
they kind of have to do that themselves.
I'm sorry. A child is supposed to name their kid, not you.
Not the stepmom.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. She didn't take no when y'all politely said it. So harshly was the only way to get your point across. It's always weird when someone asks you to name a child after someone. It wouldn't even mean the same if you didn't do it because you wanted to. OP responds, when my son was born, my dad joked that his name was available, but didn't say anything besides that and didn't complain about the name we actually chose. He later told me that it was a joke and he always thought that that was a bad idea. Comment number 2 says, you owe her nothing, especially since you just call her dad's wife. So she doesn't even sound like a close stepmom.
Yeah.
It's sad that her mother passed away, but what does that have to do with you and your unborn child? Don't let her emotionally manipulate you into changing your mind. OP responds, my dad started seeing her when I was already in college, and he wasn't interested in remarrying at the time, so I never really registered her as family. I did live with them for a little while, but we had wildly different personalities, so we were never really close.
Hear me out.
There's an update, by the way.
Go.
Stepmom, get your own kid.
There you go.
Make it, adopt it, find it.
Or you can get a pet. Get a good cat. Name it Dolores or whatever
Really?
your mom's name was.
Really?
Sure.
Really?
Go ahead. Yeah. That's great because then she could take care of that pet and the pet won't leave her. because kids
Yeah,
will
and
do that.
she'll love the pet unconditionally.
Yeah. Update. This is 4 months later. Baby should be here by now.
Baby's here.
I gave birth to a healthy baby girl back in May. Yay! She's now a month old and thriving. We're all in love with her. My husband and I decided to go with our first choice for her name. Truth be told, the backups didn't stand a chance, and it suits her perfectly. My dad stopped bringing up the subject of how I'd talked to his wife a few weeks after my post. The last thing he said about this essentially boiled down to, be nice to my wife, but for the love of God, don't name my granddaughter after my mother-in-law. He wanted to visit us this month to meet the baby, but I told him to wait a while longer. The house is a mess and we're still getting used to having 2 kids.
Aww.
His wife has been very detached from anything that concerns my daughter. She spent the weeks leading up to my baby's birth radio silent. She usually lives on her phone and texts frequently, so I figured she was still upset. Both my and my husband's families like our daughter's name. My dad in particular complimented it a lot. I want to know what this name is, man.
Let's say May, because it was born in May.
Born in May? Okay, sure. His wife did not react to it. My aunt visited them regularly, and she later told me that while my dad would show her pictures and videos of my daughter, his wife avoided the topic entirely and was cold whenever someone tried to get her to engage. To be clear, none of that ever bothered me, but this behavior was very out of character for her. When I was pregnant with my son, she created a group chat with my whole paternal family and her mother to start a countdown for his birth. She was my only acquaintance who protested when I said I didn't want pictures of my child posted online. About a week ago, my wife's dad called me. She reiterated that she felt that I wasn't being very understanding of what she's going through, but apologized for how cold she's been lately. During the call, she explained that losing her mother had made her regret her decision to not have kids. Oh, wow. Her mother had always wanted to be a grandmother, and she wishes that she could have given her the opportunity to experience that. Okay, this is a good experience.
You know what that sounds like? An issue, not an ish me.
Oh, that's a good one right there.
This
Whoops.
guy.
Wow. She took her mother's passing very hard, and it made her reflect about various things that she wishes she had done differently. But the news of my second pregnancy intensified that regret in particular. My dad's wife said that she'll always wish I had named my daughter after her mother, but still accepts the name I chose. She also told me that she'll start seeing a therapist soon. Well, good. I was mostly quiet during the call because, frankly, I didn't know how to react. Having since had a time to think about what she said, I'm a little freaked out. It's still hard to explain how I feel, and this isn't even close to my top concern right now, but I didn't see this coming. I almost felt bad admitting this, but I'm very glad that we're in different hemispheres. I can't imagine what she's going through, and I wish her nothing but the best, but I don't think being close to family right now would be good for either of us. Well, thinking back to how I handled things when she first asked us to use her mother's name, I'm pretty sure I made the right call. I sincerely wish I had been more polite, but humoring her would have probably led to a much bigger headache. But I sincerely wish that you will go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime, because you're going to find more full episodes of stories just like this one. Get on over there. Go. Humor me. There's a little bit more to the story. Let's wrap this on up.
Great.
So, I'm not sure when we'll see her again, but it won't be until next year. My dad will come visit us in October, but she won't come with him. When she does meet my daughter, I hope she's doing better. Right now, I'll focus on my children. Postpartum sucks, and my husband and I are still getting adjusted to being a family of 4, but we love both of our kids so much. I don't know how I got so lucky. Edit to those asking, I'm freaked out because I wasn't expecting her reasoning to be that she regretted not giving her mother grandchildren, as I stated in the post. I sympathize with her grief, and I'm glad she's decided to get help. And that, my friends, is the end of that story. We've got another one coming right up for you, but it sounds like everything worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the dad was like, even your dad was like, please do not do that.
Don't listen to her.
I don't want my granddaughter to have my mother-in-law's name. Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
My mother-in-law isolated us from the family, so I walked away.
These boots are made for walking, and that's what they're gonna do.
My father-in-law is quite wealthy. He bids on beach houses during charity auctions, then writes them off. He's gotten 10 other houses before, but this is the first one that his 3 adult children were invited to. His wife, stepmother-in-law, was the other woman, and it is an open secret. though they've been married 20 years now. By the way, this comes from user Pretty with Dreads, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. She has 2 daughters, P and D. Let's go with Paul and Denise from a previous marriage who frequently are invited to the beach houses. Stepmother-in-law has a mindset of, that's your family, and this is mine, even though my husband was a preteen when they officially got together. It is not a blended family at all. For example, during the trip, she even went as far as telling my husband's niece, 8, that she got her a gift for her grandchildren. When the little girl asked, what about me? She replied, well, that's up to your mother to get. And here's what happened. I'm an introvert and a socially anxious person. But for the first 2 days, I was really trying and going out of my way to initiate dialogue with the stepmother-in-law and stepsisters-in-law. That is, until I kept hitting stone wall after stone wall because they wouldn't engage back. They would leave the pool or room within 5 to 10 minutes of us getting there. If they couldn't escape the room, they would remove themselves as much as possible. One time, dinner was called and I was the first one in the kitchen. So I sat at the table. The steps came up and all sat at the island without a word to me. If our kids would play, they would call their kids away from mine.
What?
This wasn't 1 or 2 times. It was so consistent and obvious. It wouldn't be a problematic play. At one point, my daughter, 7, was being chased by the 2-year-old while the 2-year-old tried to eat her with an alligator.
What?
The 2-year-old's eating her with an alligator.
It's like a toy alligator, right?
No, it's a real one. They're that rich.
No, a real alligator wouldn't actually attack people. A crocodile would. Alligators make sure that they're like, and that they.
All fun. Paula called her over. Come get baby with that gator. Sometimes they call over the older one and whisper something, and the 6-year-old's whole demeanor would change. At one point, my 7-year-old autistic son pulled me aside because he thought the 2-year-old made a comment on his skin color. We both did like the
Say it. Yeah.
OP is black and my kids are biracial.
I knew it.
And
I knew it.
yeah. So he wanted to help talking about it with them. I explained to him that toddlers say stuff that sometimes don't make sense. She called him Tenderface, which he interpreted as Tinderface. It wasn't a big deal. My job is talking about stuff with kids. I was actually proud of him for coming to me about something that made him uncomfortable and not overreacting in the moment, which he typically does. So, I approached her mom to explain the situation and asked, do you know what this means? She bent over in my son's face and said, she's too, sweetie. You're reading into things. And walked away from the conversation. I was absolutely shocked. So, I started calling my kids when they were around the adults. I did not do this when they were around the children because I'm not a huge witch who wants to hurt kids. I use the same language they use, except once when I called my daughter in the room and told her not to ask them for anything. My 10-year-old son was in the kitchen eating breakfast with the stepmother-in-law, and the daughter's alone, so I went upstairs for him. Stepmother-in-law said that he was being wholly self-sufficient. I looked over, and he was on the couch alone eating a pastry, so I called him back into our room and thanked her for making the pastries. I missed a couple of meals. I didn't have dinner 2 nights. One night, I was dealing with my grandma in the hospital, and the other night, I was hanging out with a friend. There were a couple of lunches and breakfasts in there that my husband brought me the food down. But we were told those were going to be on our own whenever we wanted. They weren't communal meals. I will fully admit that I have food issues, physically and emotional, and don't eat well all the time, especially in public, and especially lunch and breakfast. My husband feeds me even if I don't ask him to because he worries sometimes. Good husband. I also had a few work calls and things to do during this week. I was elected board president, nice, during one of those calls. Almost every adult there had to do some sort of work during this week. My brother-in-law was incognito for 3 days because he had to do so much.
Oh, dang.
Now we're onto the fallout.
So everyone's like stretched thin here.
Everyone's busy and there's a lot going on. But back to what we were talking about with how the the steps, we're going to call them the steps because it's the trio.
Yeah.
The daughters and the mother-in-law. It's definitely a race thing.
That's so insane that this is their own family.
The audacity.
Yeah.
The audacity.
Yeah.
It's clicking now, and maybe it does. Maybe it clicks for OP. Maybe it doesn't. But she's like, I notice they don't want to talk to me, or I notice they just
Oh yeah.
they're just as far away as possible.
I mean, the fact that she mentioned all of that and mentioned everyone's ethnicity,
It-
it's very.
It's like the pieces
apparent.
are connected.
She
Yeah, the
knows.
puzzle is showing.
She knows.
Well, we're on to the fallout. The day before checkout, after her daughters left, she got very upset. We were told to eat leftovers, so sister-in-law and her husband started making leftovers and cutting up veggies. The 3-year-old was helping cut the veggies. So I said to him, "Whoa, what a spread you've done." Apparently, this set her off. My sister-in-law saw her slap the crap out of her dad, and she packed up and left without saying bye to any kids.
For
Okay.
why? For what?
His
Ooh.
kids talked to him and told him everything that I said here, but it got shrugged off as just because of timing. He had words for me, though. Apparently, I reject and avoid stepmother-in-law because I don't send thank you cards and missed meals. Nor do I ever say thank you. It was also a huge problem that I kept calling my kids away. You're doing
Mm.
it because she was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
When asked about the significance of a thank you card when I call you the same day or look you in the eyes with a genuine thank you, I was told it's a common courtesy that his children were raised to do. When asked why his son isn't getting talked to about it, then he just got quiet. When I mentioned how my children were actively being rejected and I wasn't going to allow that, he started talking about his wife's feelings, while openly acknowledging that she has a mine and yours mentality. When my husband brought up the fact that the other partners weren't always hanging out, he was told that there's a history of me skipping meal times and just doing activities. I do skip meals, and preference for socialization is over shared activities. He didn't mention how she never does activities with us or the kids outside of the house. I started thinking back to all the times I thanked her at the beach house, too. It was almost after every interaction. One of the first things I said to her was to thank her for inviting us. I was told to call and apologize. I'm not going to. I'm going to write a letter and have my therapist edit it to ensure the communication is open and gracious. But I don't feel the need to apologize. You don't need to. There's no reason for you to apologize, OP. There's
Yeah, if you're not sorry,
Yeah.
you haven't done anything wrong.
something to be
It's fine.
sorry for.
Exactly.
I believe they're going to take the vacation opportunity from my children, but if that's what they choose to do, then F it. I think
F
it's just
it.
all power. Again, we have an update,
Yeah.
but I think it's just all just stemming from power and just pompous, like, oh, we're the steps and you
Yeah.
know, we get to do this, we have control, and like we deserve more respect. We deserve
Yeah.
this more.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not about race, then it's definitely about family hierarchy and like all of that stuff. They're definitely not including these people into their family at all.
And they're kind of making it blatantly clear.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we do have an update. I requested that my husband write a letter to his dad and stepmother-in-law instead of me. He will also include a thank you card. I have asked him to include how he feels about not only how I was treated, but how his family has been treating us. By the way, you can treat us graciously,
Yep.
positively.
Yup.
You can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. We have, what, over 65 days of content for you guys?
2,500 episodes or hours of content. Pretty much the same.
Just, you know what?
So many.
Just go search it up because we have so
So-
much for you to listen to. What do you think the outcome's going to be?
I think she's gonna be like, well, what? Because I have done this and this and this for all of you people. I invited you over. You didn't say thank you, even though she did. And she's gonna just play the victim and demand apologies and not change. And then they'll have to go low contact or no contact.
But let's go ahead and finish up the story. I also asked him to address the fact that he chooses not to write thank you cards. I want the letter to be in his voice, and it will show that we're a united front if he writes it. People often assume that I am the radical one and my husband is the subdued one, being led around. He just shares his actual feelings/opinions with a select few. I do believe the steps are they're discriminatory and
Yeah.
racist, because it's very obvious. Stepmother-in-law grew up with a mammy and keeps mammy's memorabilia. She hides it when I'm over, but I was warned. What does that mean? This dynamic has
Yeah.
also been consistent since his dad and stepmom became official. I think it is a double whammy of racism and habit. This has been the dynamic for 2 decades. Who am I to refuse to engage? Type reaction. Yeah.
Okay, so a mammy is someone who did domestic work among nursing children. The fictionized or fictionalized mammy character is often visualized as a dark-skinned woman with a motherly personality. It's a stereotype, basically.
Yeah.
It's an old stereotype of like
yeah.
I don't know, very like old culture when they did blackface and it was okay by the public.
The fact that one, you were warned about this memorabilia and she keeps it, and then when you come around she hides it. She knows.
She knows.
She knows, and she does.
Yeah, like if that's something that you feel the need to hide for racism reasons, why would you keep it at all? Like if it's a grandmother's thing that was passed down, maybe look for something else that reminds you of your grandma.
We nailed it on the head. It seems like.
Yeah.
Again, it's both the hierarchy of the family
Yeah.
and blatant racism.
Yes. But that's the end of that story.
Yeah, I just don't deal with these people.
Don't.
They're not worth your time and
it's
effort.
very disappointing.
And that just
And
sucks.
yeah, because you don't want your kids around that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.